Hey guys, and welcome back to Hope, Heal, and Shine. Guys, we made it through the first month of 2021. So that means this is our first week of February and it is our Learn Week. This week, I'm going to be talking about abuse cycles. I talked briefly last week about how the abuse cycle is one reason why somebody might stay in an abusive situation. So we're going to go more in depth on that today. And the best way I know how to teach you guys about abuse cycles is with a chart similar to the one I was taught with. I pulled this information from a few different sources and I will link all of that in the description below. So this is the abuse cycle. Now, I don't think that most relationships start out being abusive. I think early on in a relationship, things are typically good. And then gradually the abusive person starts testing boundaries with you to see how far they can push you. But the cycle can start so subtly that you don't even know it's happening. And again, it's a cycle. So after it happens, it just keeps repeating itself. I was pretty shocked sitting in class the day that we learned this to realize that this was my life and that I was literally living in an abusive relationship because I had no idea. Again, when abuse doesn't look the way you have defined it in your mind, it is really hard to identify it and to label it correctly. So hopefully better understanding what abuse actually looks like can help with that. And for me, one of the best ways was understanding this abuse cycle. This chart might not reflect every kind of abusive situation, but it was spot on for what I went through. It was actually shocking and kind of terrifying with how accurate some of these points were for me. And so this is why I'm going to use it, because this is what I know. So as you can see, the abuse cycle starts with tension, goes to the incident, then reconciliation, and then calm. So now we're gonna walk through each of those steps. Number one is tension. The tension is building. You might feel like you're walking on eggshells. There's a breakdown of communication. You're feeling fearful. Your anxiety is building. Your abuser becomes moodier, more nitpicky, may play mind games as you try to placate the abusive person. And if you don't know what placate means, that means to make somebody less angry or hostile. So the biggest red flag or like signal in my brain that this was my life was the part about walking on eggshells. I constantly felt like I had to tiptoe around certain topics or really be careful with how I say things or really try to go out of my way to make this person happy because I could feel that tension building and I felt he was likely to snap at any moment. So that was me really trying to avoid that incident. But inevitably, the incident always happened, which leads us to step number 2, incident. The incident is where abuse occurs. Now, this could be sexual, physical, verbal, or emotional abuse. It could look like your abuser being angry, intimidating, blaming, arguing, threatening, use of weapons, trying to humiliate you, angry outbursts and yelling. It could be a number of things. For my situation, it was not always rape. Sometimes it was him exploding to the point of literally driving away and leaving the state for a few days. Sometimes it meant he was cheating on me. Sometimes it was him being so upset with me that he literally left me alone in a restaurant crying, or would leave when I was at his house and I didn't have a car, so I had to walk home from these places by myself at night. There are a lot of different ways the incident occurs. It doesn't always have to be the same every time, but it was always really bad and really scary. So after the incident, we have the reconciliation stage. Step 3, reconcile. The abuser apologizes, brings flowers. That one was another one of those big red flags or signals to my brain like, hey, does this sound familiar? I had more flowers for my abuser in the year we were together than I probably have the rest of my life from all my other boyfriends, my husband, anyone else combined. That was just his style. Promises to change. They may deny the abuse happened or try to tell you it wasn't as bad as you remember it being, which is another form of gaslighting. And they make excuses, either by blaming you or blaming other things that are stressing them out. Because of course, nothing is ever the abuser's fault because they are the true victim here. Please understand that that was sarcasm. So I feel like a number of these things always happened for me. My abuser was constantly trying to tell me that he was going to try harder, things were going to be different, promised to change. But then eventually it was like, I didn't do anything wrong. Why would I change? And if I did something wrong, it's your fault. So he kind of did all of these things just in their own steps. Basically, this whole section was a red flag because it described my exact life. Next, we come to the calm phase. During the calm phase, no abuse is occurring. The incident is forgotten, and it's like you're in the honeymoon phase. Everything is great, and you really start to believe that this time things are going to be different, until inevitably that tension starts mounting again, and the whole thing just repeats itself over and over and over again. The fact that this stage 4 exists, that things can be calm and good and not abusive, this is what other people see your relationship as. And the fact that other people see this might make it even harder for you to get out, because as you're trying to gain support, they tell you how beautiful your relationship is and how they might even envy it. When in reality, they're not seeing what's going on behind those closed doors, and they don't know the terror and the hell that you are enduring on an almost daily basis. It took me a long time to see that all of those promises he made were just empty promises meant to keep me in the relationship and meant to keep me under his control. But it's really hard to see that when you're in the middle of it. So what do you do if you find yourself in this situation? So I'm not going to give any specific advice because I don't know anyone's specific situation. But what I am going to do is speak my truth. And what I know is that no one deserves to be treated with disrespect or violence. Abuse is not something to be endured or tolerated. It is not loving or healthy to put up with these kinds of things. Setting healthy boundaries is what is loving and respectful to both you and that person. So here's 2 more truths. You can't control anyone else. You can only control yourself. So the first thing I would tell you to do if you feel like you can't leave this situation is to invite this person to change. What that might look like is setting healthy boundaries. It might look like inviting them to attend therapy with you. It could be that this person just doesn't realize their behavior is so harmful and they will be willing to change and work on it. On the other hand, if this person refuses to go to therapy and refuses to change like my abuser did, keep in mind that at the end of the day, it is not within your power to change this person. Only they can choose to do that. And again, please do not base your self-worth on whether or not this person decides to change. That is on them. That is their own issues, their own decision. And yes, that's hard. And it might feel personal, but it's not. People treat you how they are, not how you are. So their choice to abuse you and their choice whether or not to change, that's all about them, not you. So then what do you do if they make the decision to not change? If they refuse to go to therapy with you, if they refuse to respect your boundaries, if they flat out think nothing they're doing is wrong, they're blaming you for everything, they're not going to change, period. What do you do? Well, this is the hard part. The only thing you can change in that situation is you. If this was me giving my younger self advice, this is what I would say. Get out. You do not have to put up with this. You deserve better. Please do not stay because you think this person is the best you're ever going to get because you don't deserve any better. That is not true. That is what he wants you to believe, so you will stay. It is a lie. You deserve so much better, and you will have so much better. All you need is the courage to get out and to stay out this time. He does not love you. He does not respect you, and he does not deserve you. I promise you, the freedom, peace, and happiness that you will find once you are away from this person will be better than any of your best days with this person. Guaranteed. And although it might be hard at first, realizing that you can only control you is actually one of the most empowering things that you can understand. I control me. This person who has been controlling your life for a year, he doesn't get a say anymore. I get to choose how my life turns out. And I choose to make more of it than to feel like a victim and to stay in this dark spot forever. You control you. So what are you going to do? I promise you, you have the power to change your situation and to change your life. You already have that power within you. You don't need more of anything. You already have that ability. Reach out for help, find that strength, and make those hard decisions that your future self is going to thank you for. Past self, thank you. Thank you for staying away. Thank you for choosing you. I love you. You can do this. Thank you guys so much for watching this week. I know this can be somewhat of a heavy topic for some people. It definitely was for me the first time I heard it. So thank you guys so much for watching. And please, if you feel this video can help anybody, share it. Learning this information literally saved my life. So if you feel it could help somebody, please share it, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next week for our video on hope. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next week.